Next thing I got to do here is, oh, it'll take a minute. It'll take a minute for that. It can take up to 24 hours before you get all that done. Yes, sir. I do have to go over here after all. Never mind. Content. Yeah, and we are actually live right now, Jonezer. But yeah, I do. And all right, I've got to pull the chat up here, and to do that, I've got to get the control room open. Hello, everyone. I know I'm live. If there's anybody watching, George Valentine. Hey, man, how's it going? We are setting up the stream. We're doing right now what we normally do pre-show. That's what we're doing right now. Hey, I like salt. Yeah, pull it together, Billy says. That's what I'm trying to do, man. First, I gotta pop the chat out and see if I can get it going. And then we're gonna see we got.
Okay, hello. Hi, everybody. How are you? I just tried to do this myself, and it was a beautiful disaster.
Now they can see us. They can see us both now for just a minute. All right. So I got the chat going, and I'm going to try to see if I can get the chat overlays to start. I got to refresh that. I got to turn this from top chat to live chat. I've got the chat popped out because in order for my featured chat thing to work, it pulls from the pop out chat. All right. So now that I've got that done, there's going to be a couple of scenes where you can't hear me, but Jonezer can. It's just going to be like that. So what you do there in that case, when it's just you on the screen for here in a minute, you say, Bill said blah, 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 if it's something you think they need to hear. Make sense?
Okay. It makes sense.
But before I do that, I'm going to sit here and chat a moment with Jonezer about what we're doing. We're actually going to pull up my instance of OBS here in a minute, and you're also going to see the Video Ninja control room occasionally. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be showing Jonezer how to do some settings in both of those. Now, the Video Ninja control room may or may not have its audio on. If it does, there may be a bit of echo and some weirdo crap. I like Salt says, I love the toy shows. All right. Well, we can tickle that fancy if need be. Just so you know, there's a lot of stuff over here. There's like weeks and weeks of content over here. You gentlemen
I may
came
have
on
a thing or two behind me as well.
George Valentine says, you gentlemen came on a perfect time. I needed a distraction. My grandfather's in the hospital. Well, I hate to hear that, man, and I hope he's going to be okay.
I hate to hear that.
Yeah, so, our thoughts and prayers with you. Our thoughts and prayers also Mike Fee. You know Mike Fee's almost halfway to his goal right now.
Good. That's what we
I was
wanted.
very pleased to hear that earlier today. So he is doing well on that, but he's still at least $1,000 away from his goal. No, not quite. A little over. Let's see, maybe $300 or $400 away from his goal. Really, I think is what it is. I think he got $900 and something last I looked. And he needs $1,200. So you're the content. Teach me.
No, he's doing quite well.
All right, I'll certainly try. I like salt. So, all right. So let me get the scene up that has my OBS in it, and give it a second to pop up here on the screen. And there it goes. Okay. So now, this is what I look at during the entire show, and the screen that you see that's got the that effect of going into infinity on it there, that is actually my OBS. That's what you're seeing, and I see that up in OBS. So the first thing I have to do, and they may or may not hear me when I change this scene, I don't know, Joneser, but First thing I have to do is set myself up. In order to do that, I have to activate my camera in OBS and have a scene with me in it. And that is the scene called OBS Ninja Me. And then I set up another scene that has Jonezer in it. That's the OBS Ninja guest scene that you see there. Now, in order to set those up beforehand, you also have to have a little dealie. Uh-oh. I just showed my, that's something nobody needs to be looking at. Control room. There we go. You have to have this Video Ninja control room set up here. Now look, Joneser, you see right there where it says the control center for this room, and there's a name, a real funny name. That is the name of my control room. Yours has a name as well. And beside it is this little icon so that you can remember the room. Boom, I always click that, so my browser will put a cookie on it so that it will remember the room, so that when I open Video Ninja back up again, it tries to put me in this room. Does that make sense, Joneser?
Sure.
No, it didn't make a damn bit of sense. Okay.
I'm trying to follow along, doing my best.
Okay. Now, this one that says stream feed here is my OBS Ninja virtual camera, which I believe you can see activated right here where it says stop virtual camera. I hit start virtual camera. So, and that does that. So, here we go. So that gets that going. So now back over here to Video Ninja. I'm also presenting a screen here. This is the presentation screen that you see up now. So see that. Now there's another scene over here called toggle between director control room and scene preview. So right now we're looking at the director's control room, and in here I can change audio settings on Joneser, and I probably do need to set one of his settings. And it's this one right here that says voice isolation on. Right? And that will eliminate some of the echo problems that sometimes we have when we're streaming. Now, the next thing is I can go over here and I can look at what Joneser's view of things. This is what Joneser's looking at on his screen. Himself, and what I'm showing him is the feed link because I'm showing him the virtual camera. Go back over here to the control room. Underneath each one of these,
didn't think that's what I was looking at. Oh.
Underneath each one of these is a copy solo view link, and you see the link right there. So I would click this and copy that solo view link and come back over here. Now they may not hear me when I do this. And go to OBS Ninja.
Okay.
Like I said, I have one for myself. Y'all can hear me now. You can't hear Jonesy. So this scene here is just my camera and my mic. Once again, they're not going to hear me. They'll hear you, Joneser.
Okay, if he can't, y'all can't hear him, but he's trying to explain to me how this kind of stuff works. One thing that's kind of messing me up, his, like George Valentine says, his OBS looks completely different than mine.
Of course, that's because they can hear me now. Of course, yours looks different, George. More than likely, yours is set up the way it is when it comes. One of the things that I've already done is I unlocked my docks, and I moved the docks around, okay, to where I wanted them to be. And and then you can also do stuff like this right here, so that you can change the size of things. I've made mine look the way I want it to look, and then I locked them up and made them stay that way. This featured chat over here, which isn't really working right now, because normally I have to have the pop-up chat active, and I keep having to refresh this to get y'all's chat in here. This works a lot better when I'm not putting a lot of load on my computer like I am now. When I'm not putting the load on the computer, Jones, or the chat just pops up in there, and I don't have to really worry about it. And like you, when the chat comes in the screen, I can just click on it, highlight it, and it comes up here in the screen if I have that overlay set up. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not how I did it, but yeah.
This is a little easier for me, but like I said, the more load I put on my computer, it loses its connection to that pop out window. But anyway, so
Right.
once I've got those two scenes set up, I need to set up a scene with both of us in it. Which you're looking at that one of those scenes now called Guest Scene Ninja, which I used the other day when we were doing it. It makes it look like we're in Video Ninja when we're really not. So what do I have down here? I have OBS Ninja Me, that scene. So I added a scene into a scene. That way Joneser's mic and him come into the scene, and I have a scene for me. And I put my scene in there as well, which brings my mic in as well, because I mic'd out that scene with me in it. So as you can see, OBS Ninja Me is a scene that I created before, and I put that scene in a scene, so you can nest scenes. And that's what I'm doing. Now I could reinvent the wheel and make a whole new instance of Jonezer in a browser in here, but why should I do that when I can do it once, change everything I need to change over there, and then it just carries in over here? Does that make sense, Jonezer?
It does.
Okay. Of course, you can add backgrounds and overlays and all the blah blah blahs and good old stuff. See, there's featured chat, Streamlab alerts. I can even play the ducks. Now, this is fun because right here, as you can see, they can hear the ducks. But do you hear the ducks, Joneser?
I do not.
Look on the audio mixer. Do you see the ducks moving?
I do.
Over here, where the three little dots are, you go up here to where it says advanced audio properties on that particular one, and it brings that up. And look, Feed the Ducks has the monitor off on it, which means that it's not coming through my speaker. But it only means I'm not monitoring it, but it also means that they can hear it. Same thing with my desktop audio. Right now I've got monitor off on it, which means they can hear it, but I can go monitor only and mute the output of my desktop audio, and then suddenly you won't hear my desktop audio anymore. What happens then? That means that I can hear it, but nobody else can. So I keep the monitor off on that, and the same thing with everything else except for the things that I want to be able to monitor, like the Streamlab alerts. I like to hear that when it goes off because I need that visual cue that those fireworks are going off. But see, if you notice, Jonezer OBS Ninja, that monitor's off, so your sound isn't coming through my speaker to bleed over in OBS. So how am I listening to you? You think to yourself, how can he hear me? I can hear you because, let me come up here to this presentation screen. I can hear you because I've got my speaker active. See the little speaker icon on here? If I turn that speaker off, then I can't hear you at all anymore. But they can.
Okay, I have a question. When you were talking about the audio and it had, let me pull mine up so I can say the question right. When you were doing the audio and you had a thing that said monitor and output, monitor off, and monitor and output or monitor only.
Yeah.
Explain to me like I'm a second grader what that means.
Okay. Let me get the advanced audio properties up and all right. Monitor off means that you are broadcasting the audio when you're live streaming or you're recording, but you can't hear it. But your recording will hear it, or your live stream audience will hear it.
Okay.
That eliminates echo problems sometimes. In other words, your mic isn't picking up the output of your speaker and going into a loop, which makes a big old squeal. You know what I'm talking about, drummer.
Do.
All right. Monitor only, but mute output means you can hear the output of your speakers, but you're not recording it, or your live stream audience is not hearing it. Monitor and output. You can hear it, and they can hear it.
Okay.
All right. Got it?
That, for the first time ever, makes sense to me.
All right. George Valentine says, is there a way to let a co-host share links on OBS, or do I still need to use StreamYards? You can do everything that you're doing in StreamYards and more with OBS and OBS Ninja. And that OBS Ninja is what you're looking at right now on the share screen. That is the control room box. As you can see, where it says this is your screen share, it's also a performer. That is a screen share. I'm sharing my OBS screen right now through that by clicking down here, the green button that's active down there at the bottom. That's your stop. That's your screen share. If I click that right now, it would stop the screen share, and this presentation screen would go away that you see, George. I Like Salt says I might start with a TikTok. Don't fuck with me, Salt. I know damn well you're not going to do a TikTok. You don't have it installed, and you won't install it. And then he had to reboot. He's got computer problems as well. You need a damn good computer to do this, and I have like a half good computer. I'm surprised I can do half the shit I can do with it, and that's only because of my expertise at jiggery pokery. And what do you think of my expertise with jiggery pokery, Jonezer?
I am trying to soak up what I can soak up.
Video Ninja is entirely free, George. Free. 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 Go ahead, Jonezer. Sorry.
I was just trying to soak up what I can soak up.
Yeah. Open up a browser screen, type in V as in Victor, D as in Delta, O as in Oscar, dot Ninja. Video Ninja. And you will open up Video Ninja. Now, can you figure out how to use it just by doing that? Probably not. This is from watching multiple hours of YouTube videos from the creator of OBS or Video Ninja, which he called it OBS Ninja to begin with, and OBS complained, and so he changed the name of it. Of the Steve doing videos about Video Ninja, and also Michael Frayer and others telling me how to set this up. And as Joneser can attest, I have set it up multiple times in multiple fashions, and it seems like every time we start a new stream, we have to monkey with it to get it going right. Is that correct, Joneser?
It is. It's a constant struggle.
And that is the nature of the beast. I was watching a Michael Frayer video about that, and he says, you're always going to have to tweak your settings before you start your stream. That's nothing that will ever go away. So there's that to remember. So we learned, Joneser, or at least you did, I already knew it, that me and you need to mess around together for at least a half an hour before I start a stream usually, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, it helps for trying to figure out what's what.
Well, a lot of times, there's echo issues, and there may be some right now, but we try to eliminate those as much as possible. And Joneser learned how to look at his audio mixers and see whether his mic is picking up mine, and I can look at mine and see if my mic's picking up his. If either one of our mics are picking up the audio coming off of the speakers, then there's going to be an echo issue. That's where those echo issues come from. But anyway, you have to add scenes with each person in from the Video Ninja control room using their solo links. So if I had another guest in here, I could do that with that solo link. I'm doing it right now with the share solo link so that you can see the presentation. So you already have to have the scene set up with a scene with you in it and a scene with your guest in it. Then you also have to have your control room open in another browser window and have the audio icon active in that so you can hear your guest. Because if you're hearing your guest through OBS Ninja doing monitor and output, you're going to get a bad echo problem. You won't hear it, but your guests will go insane and they'll go to some other stream and watch somebody else do this because they can't stand watching you because it's killing their ears. Make sense?
It does. Quite honestly, the biggest thing I got out of this so far is what those different audio settings meant.
So are you still confused about how to add your guest in?
You know, that might be a whole another ball of wax, but I think for me, like you were saying, you got to do what works for you. I got to do what works for me, and I think for me, I got to keep building upon what I got. Like right now, I just cleaned up OBS with what I already understood and knew how to do, and then I think it's just going to be adding another peel on the banana, you know.
Well, I took the presentation screen off and just got us sitting up here talking to each other right now. I think we ought to sit here and at least give them something for another 15, 20 minutes. Hell, I don't even know how many people are actually watching us right now. I know George and I Like Salt are in here because they probably got the bell icon telling them that we were live. Here we are, we're live. Sure. I'm on a different computer over here, folks. No, it's not. It's not one that will ever live stream, but I can at least look at my studio without having to change tabs over here on my third screen. So we got 3 people watching us. Hell, you had more people watching you on your stream than I got watching me on mine, but I know why. It was because you said you were gaming. When you set your
yeah, and I tagged gaming into it. Yeah. And I think if I continue doing that, I'll continue to get them. But quite honestly, when I was doing the game, I had like you and maybe one other fellow. When I stopped doing the game and started scrolling through Big Bad and just shooting the shit and talking to people, I got the most people in it than I did. Very few people watched the game, which was funny.
Well, what happened? That's because they didn't realize you were streaming. They saw you didn't give them time to see that you were actually up on the stream. I've noticed that Derek Kudo, although he a lot of times he's drunk and he threatens that he's going to play a game and he never does. But what happens is he comes in and he talks for about 15 minutes. And he actually begins setting up with his gaming equipment and showing what game he wants to play and blah, blah, blah. And then when he's got some viewers watching him, then he'll go in and play the game. Sometimes he never plays the game because, you know, the chat's too much fun and he's drunk. And people pay him $3 and he takes another drink of vodka and he gets drunker. You know what I'm saying?
Well, sure. Yeah, that's not a bad idea at all. If I was a person who would connoisseur in alcohol, I'd probably ruin my liver for money too. I think just going on my strategy or thought on these is I think I want to do a bit of a I mean, I'll do some gaming, but I don't think it's going to be gaming the whole time. I'll do some toy opening, but I don't think it's gonna be toy opening the whole time. I think I want to do a little bit of a variety show. Now, I mean, obviously, if people came for the
like
gaming,
a winner. That sounds like a winner.
well, and if people came for the gaming, then we do more of it. And if people wanted to see the toys, then we do more of it. And if the discussion was catching on, then we do more. You know, it's kind of a go with the flow kind of show. You know, I mean, I'm still throwing.
Say the other day, you can feel the room.
Right.
You know what I mean by that? That's a wrestling term. You feel the room. Right. You play to the room.
Well, and that's why I used to do that when I played in the rock and roll bands. You'd have some bands that I was playing in years ago where they had a lot of original music. Now, original music can be kind of a funny game because either people there are really into it or they really don't want to hear it. And I usually found that there's never a middle ground on that. So what we used to do is we would open up something strong, whether it was original or something people knew or not. It's something strong, something that you would hook them. And then you'd get the people watching, and then you could throw in an original song that was your own. And then depending upon how that landed, maybe do another one if it looked like it landed well. If it doesn't look like it landed well, quickly reverse course and go into something that's a little more people would know, and then maybe you can come back to the original songs. But, you know, like you said, you kind of got to feel the room. And, are the heavy metal ones hitting? Well, we should do some more of those. Or the classic rock or the 70s rock, that seems to be what's getting everybody's heads bobbing. And I think we stick there. You know, oh, wait a minute. They don't like the 70s. They don't like the freaking metal stuff. How about the 90s? How about the 80s? Where's the crowd at?
Let me get to some chat right quick, Joneser. I like Salt says, I'm trying to learn. I'm much slower than Motu Joneser, and I'm taking in as much as I can. It could be a lot of OOPs. Don't delete this video, Bill. It's worth several viewings for me. Okay, I'll leave it up for you. I certainly will. All right. George Valentine says, hey, I'm here for all the tips I can get. Me too. I want tips. You give those to Streamlabs. I like Salt says, I got the bug, learning what I can. Music in the background, it's great. All right, I had the ducks playing, but I changed to night driving now. Tell me how that sounds there, buddy. And do you even hear it? You probably don't. I probably need to set that.
I don't hear it.
Oh, yeah, you should be able to hear it. Let me go over here and look at the advanced audio properties on that, and down here where it says night driving, monitor off. So I don't hear it. Joneser don't hear it. It's not interfering with anything. One of the things I do have is Joneser's mic on my end in OBS set to 81%. That brings his level down in OBS so that he's not overpowering you, because my mic is usually not as loud as his because of my settings to keep me from clipping. That makes sense, Joneser.
It does.
Okay. Content does matter. Thank you, I Like Salt. Still have 2 concurrent viewers. So who's watching us? George Valentine and I Like Salt. Thank you, both of you, for watching me. I'm wondering if anybody else was noticed that I'm live and come over here and check us out, but it doesn't look like anybody has. Now, my category is people and blogs. I did not go entertainment like I normally do, and I did not go gaming like you did, because I'm certainly not gaming. So, you know, I don't know if anybody's going to even pay attention to us tonight, but it isn't about viewers. It's about trying to teach you, Joneser, how to set this shit up and run it.
Well, and what was hard, if I'm being honest, while you were trying to do that, the screen on my end is so blurry I couldn't hardly see what you're pushing or what you're clicking on.
That's because Video Ninja changes that, compresses that to try and the frame drops going on, because that's all because of my video processor and my CPU. The load on my CPU is a motherfucker.
Right, so it was kind of not as easy to follow along because of that. But I could still hear everything you were saying just fine. So a lot of that was soaking in. But when you're like, oh, you see here where I pushed this or I clicked on that, and it's like, you clicked
Now
down
I'm
on right
wondering,
where
I'm wondering if that was just in your Video Ninja green room there, because I'm thinking that perhaps if you were to rewatch this video, which I know that's hard.
Yeah, no, it's clear on that screen. And then that's what I was doing. I was leaning over that way, and then you know what I mean, like going back and forth.
Yeah. So it broadcasts a hell of a lot clearer than it looks in your web browser window there, because that's trying to lighten the load on my CPU, so it may blur out a little bit, but
Right.
that's how that works. So what I'm wanting right now, yeah, those of you watching, is you see the little man over there beside me in the maroon shirt. You can almost see the little gears turning on the inside of his head, as you know. And I'm wanting him to ask me questions so that I cannot tell him lies.
Well, the one with the audio really helped a lot. Let me pull. It's easier for me to ask a pointed question when I can see it on my end. So let me pull this thing up over here.
All right. While you're doing that, let me answer George Valentine's question here. My featured chat is kind of not connecting right now because of all this stuff going on. The gears are grinding, says I like salt. All right. Do you have any suggestions on video editing software DaVinci Resolve at the moment? I've heard nothing but good things about DaVinci Resolve, George. However, I can't speak to it because I've never even tried to use it. I don't have it downloaded. I've heard very excellent things about another one, Shotcut. Have you ever heard of that, Jonah?
I have not.
Yeah, Shotcut. I've heard lots of good things about, and a lot of content creators use Shotcut. Can I speak to Shotcut? No. I actually have it installed. I've never tried to use it. Okay. The one I do use is called VSD Video Editor, and I use the free version of that. And I don't need to buy the pro version of that because there's nothing in the pro version of that I've found so far that I need the use of.
Okay, here's how I think would help me do this. I'm going to share this screen with you.
All right. Hang on. I'm going to do something to help everybody else too. I'm going to copy the link to the clipboard. I'm going to come up here to guest with presentation. I'm going to turn off the Chrome browser window. Turn on my browser presentation window. Go to the properties of that. Take away the URL that I have active up there now. And put the URL to your share in there. And say okay to that. And what should happen is that here in a second, if that will do right, it should show yours. See here. There it is.
The first thing I wanted to ask was, because mine don't look like yours did.
Right.
How do I move these little suckers around and make them stay where I want them to stay? You were saying something about in the docks?
Okay. All right. Notice that, let me, what is going on here? Okay, I know what's here. Oh, I didn't. Did I? Yeah, I did. Oh, I'm a fool. Okay, never mind. All right, let me move this around just a minute. There we go. Now they can see it better, and I'll have to fix that later. Now, okay. If you'll look inside there, you will see that in the corner of each one of those, you're going to see two little squares. That means that Yeah, you can start moving those docks around by going to the middle of them, and you'll see that you can move them back and forth and stuff. Let me show you on
Right.
mine. Like right here, you can move this back and forth like this right here. Well, wait a minute, let it come back up. Come on, show the damn thing. There it goes. All right. And you put your mouse here. I don't know if you can see my mouse on screen. You can move that back and forth right there. Now I've got my docks locked. You see that lock up there under docks? If you unlock the docks, then you can see the two little squares, and that means you can pull them out and you can let them float if you want to, or you can lock them in place. But once you go to
Right.
lock the docks, then they won't move anymore either. So that means when you restart OBS, they'll still stay where you set them at before. Okay? So you got to lock your docks.
Got you.
All right? And I fucked around and screwed my featured chat up. But I can fix that. Here you. That link address. That. Up here, featured chat. Property. Fixed finally. And follow link. Station other. Paste. So here in a second, Jonezer's OBS is there. It goes. His OBS should be on the screen now. So you can
Okay.
you can move
Now
your stuff
say
right
I
now.
want this big.
You're gonna have to turn. You're gonna have to pull all your docks down a little bit, so then that window will get bigger when you do that.
Okay.
You've set them up too tall. So if you might
How
have
do I
to
shrink
unlock
them?
you're gonna have to pull them down.
How do I shrink them?
Well, let's see. Copy solo view link and copy duplicate reference. Properties. I'm gonna pull mine up. It's gonna take a second. This is very helpful and fascinating to watch. Thank you, George.
Right.
All right, here we go. So see at the very top of each dock, and you may have to lock your docks to make this happen. I can pull this up like that, and as I do,
Okay.
my screen gets smaller and smaller and smaller because I've got more real estate going on down there at the bottom. As I pull it down, 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 I get more real estate on my preview screen here. So that's what you're going to have to do. So let's see what Jonezer's doing here in his.
Do that again quick. How did you do that?
Okay, well, let me go back over here to presentation. All right, so at the very top of each dock, pull your mouse up until you see the little line with two arrows pointing up and down on it. Then hold your mouse button down, pull it up. See that? See it happening?
Not you.
Then you pull it back. Then you can
Yep.
pull it back down, and you get more real estate on the screen. See that?
And then I
And
could
I'm going.
stick.
I was
Okay,
going
no,
kind of slow with it there because I know that it was real hard for you to catch that.
I think I'm starting to figure it out now. You gotta stick that sucker in just the right place for it to go where you want, though.
That is correct.
No. Huh. Irritating. There we go, you little bugger. I see.
Let's see what Jonezer sees.
Now I'm seeing what I want to see out of this damn thing.
If the animals went back, you go downstairs.
Interesting.
Interesting. There you go. And you can make your OBS look at that point how you want it to look, and you can put things to where it's easier for you to interact with them. That's what I've done in mine, which is why it doesn't look like what you normally see.
Right.
What's he saying here? You should have the 4 arrow appear when you drag it. We are learning, my friend. I think. I've been mowing for a few years, and I'm considering recording and posting it. That sounds like fun. I like Salt says there's a lot to learn. This is helpful and fascinating to watch, says George. Yeah, and you set these. You have to set these scenes up beforehand. So you'll see scenes swapping around and moving a lot of times when I'm running a show, and you're like, how's he doing all that? Well, I've got the scenes already set up, and I'm just going from one to the other. And then there are plugins to go into OBS, Jones, that I can actually make us move around on the screen. So if I change a scene, it'll look like that our scenes are moving and changing position and all that. That requires even more CPU energy and better video graphics cards in order to work. And I'm not even going to fool with that till I get something new to work with.
Right.
Right. A lot of times it's spit, bubble gum, and baling wire that we're holding this show together with, and we're operating with the bare minimum to make the show barely look halfway professional. Usually failing miserably at it, right, Jones?
Yeah, I would say. What's interesting though, and what's neat is I couldn't even figure that out for the longest time. Lyric, can you turn that down, bud? I couldn't even figure that out for the longest time, was how to even mess with that. Was to just get, I remember being really pissed. I couldn't get them
none of this shit's intuitive.
No, and what's really amazing with OBS especially is you're like, oh cool, oh I'm on OBS, cool. What's a scene? Okay, I got a scene. What's a source? Okay, now I got that. How come my okay, now I switched to something. What, I got to do all this again now? Hey, how come my audio doesn't work? Hey, where'd that thing go that I just had a minute ago? And it's completely maddening trying to figure your head around it, because especially when the first thing I did, just like everybody else does, is use StreamYard, where StreamYard is 1000% the opposite of this, where you just point, click, and everything happens. And it doesn't take much brain power to try to figure out what you're trying to do at all.
But
and
you're in a
completely
fence.
holds your hand.
Yeah, but you're in a fence. You can only do what it lets you do.
Right.
Whereas when you graduate up to using this entirely, you can do anything that you want to do. You just have to figure out how to do that.
Right. And it's incredible that they give you this wonderful program for free and that you don't have to, pay for any extra, but it also, kind of throws you to the wolves and says, good luck, boy.
Yes.
That thing ain't going to operate itself.
Nope.
George
Valentine says that he's got a 14-year-old PC still holding strong. Well, here's the problem that I'm going to be facing soon, as well as all of the content creators. We're going to have to deal with Windows 11, and right now my PC will not take Windows 11, and it's got very big privacy issues right now with it, and I'm kind of scared of it. And Windows 10 support is going to go away in August.
Bill, I'm ahead of the game. I'm already on Windows 11.
Okay. I've used OBS for years with Twitch. Okay, so George is a Twitch streamer. He already knows a little bit about OBS, but he knows enough about it to get his Twitch stream going. I guess you're a gamer as well, George. I was assume. I'm assuming here.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm dealing with right now, is trying to get just enough so that I look halfway decent and sound halfway decent and have a halfway decent show when I run it over here without overloading my CPU, which is overloaded right now. It stays overloaded. I can put my hand over here next to my fan and I can feel the heat coming off of it.
Okay, so now that I got this far and I got all my things where I wanted them and I got them locked, now I got this Video Ninja with guest scene that I named.
Uh-huh.
So now when I go to source here, I would want
You're gonna want
window capture.
Hang on. No. The first thing you want to do before you try to add anybody else in there is to add you in there.
Well, see, I can already do that without. Oh, you want me in Ninja?
I want you in OBS in that scene, and then you can add me in there.
That's probably where I went wrong, because I had me in OBS already.
Okay, you got all right. You got a scene with. Wait, hang on,
Ninja.
Stop. Ooh. You've got a scene right now with you in it and your mic in it, right?
Yeah.
All right. What's the name of that scene?
Solo with chat.
Okay, turn the chat off.
Okay.
It's not necessary, because you're gonna remember that scene. Now go back to the OBS Ninja scene where you're gonna add yourself into it. You don't have any sources for yet. The one that you're gonna add the guest into. Yes, that one. All right, now under your scene list, you're gonna add a new scene.
Okay.
So your source is going to be the scene that you've already created with you. No. Over in the scene list. Go down to the bottom of the
I'm
scene
in
list
the
and click the
scene.
little plus icon.
I know. I'm just trying to listen to what you're trying to tell me to do.
Right. Okay, go over to the scene list that has nothing in it. That says it's got the question mark in it.
Right.
Go down to the bottom where the little plus is. Click the plus, and look down that list of options that you have and find scene. You're going to add a scene inside that scene. And the scene you're going to add is an existing scene, and the existing scene is what you named yourself in the scene. The scene
The
list.
solo chat. Okay.
Yep. now you're in there. Now you want to resize that down to so that you can add another next to it.
Okay.
Yeah, move it around. There you go. Just let it be small like that, and just move it to a position on the screen where you want it to be, and then you're going to add your scene from OBS Ninja is going to be called a browser. You're going to add a browser. Now that's going to be from your control room in OBS Ninja. Or Video Ninja, excuse me. I keep calling it OBS Ninja because that's what it used to be called.
Okay.
George said he had to switch to streaming through his console. Okay. But yeah, all right. So that's going to be a browser scene, and you're going to have your control room open and grab the solo link off of your guest to do that.
I think you lost me.
All right. Take you off. Me on Chrome window. There we go. All right. This is the control room. Now you would have your own control room open at this point, and you would be me over here where it says Stream Link, and I would be you where it says Jonezer. And then I would come down here at the bottom of that where it says Copy Solo View Link. Bottom of yours. I don't think you can see my mouse in there, but it says Copy Solo View Link. At the bottom it says a direct solo view of the video audio stream with nothing else. Its audio can be remotely controlled from here. You're going to grab that solo view link, and then you're going to make another scene somewhere in your scene list called Guest, OBS Ninja Guest, which I have one. Let me change over here to OBS so you can see what I'm doing here. That's you. No, that's you. Come on, open it up there, buddy. There it goes. It takes a minute. No, that's still you. Oh, I had me up there. It's confused. All right, property. Waiting for that to come up. Go here in just a second. There it goes. Okay. So you're going to come up to your scene list here. Go down to and make a scene. I've got one called OBS Ninja Guest 1.
Okay. I can't see anything. Hold on. No.
Okay, I'll try this in studio mode. So I'm going to go down to, and they should hear me now. OBS Ninja Guest. That's the scene I've created. That's you alone. Then I'm going to go to Properties. See if you can see what I'm doing here. Yeah, hopefully. And I don't know if you can see this properties window up, but in where it says URL, I'm going to paste that URL that I copied the solo view link and make the width 1280, height 720, and click the little box that says control audio via OBS. And then I'm going to say okay to that. I don't know if I don't think you, oh, I stopped my virtual cam. Damn, there we go. I don't think that you saw the property window come up, did you, Joneser?
No.
Well, frickety fracky
No,
friggity fuck. But
honestly,
anyway,
this might be something that I just need to mess with when my brain is able to
there's
receive
videos
it.
to watch on this, and the two I suggest is Steve's video, the guy that created Video Ninja, and the other one is the videos that Michael Freyer has done over there. Hello, Beta Ray Bob. Good to see you, sir. Glad you could join us. We're doing what exactly it says on the tin, my friend. We are perpetrating all sorts of nonsense over here, and I'm glad you could come and watch the train wreck, my friend. We're showing off OBS Studio and OBS, Video Ninja, and how to add guests and how to control things. And Joneser has been asking me questions about both, and I have been very busy answering him in ways in which he cannot understand shit I'm saying. And we're doing the best we can to try to make people learn.
Right. And I think it's some of these things, like, you're a machine operator, right? So
Yeah.
when you read the manual, how helpful
What
is the
manual?
manual?
There's such a
There
thing
you
as a
go.
fucking manual? God
There
damn it,
you
you
go.
work in
And
a
I think
factory too. You know better than that shit. Go
right.
ahead. I'm
No,
sorry.
and
I
I
couldn't
think
help that joke.
I feel like this is kind of landed on me kind of the same way. Like it's one thing to have all of the best information in the world presented to you, but if your fingers aren't on the buttons and the switches, you're not learning a damn thing.
That's absolutely the
You
fucking
know what I
truth.
mean?
And believe me, did I ever tell you that story here? Time for story time, folks. We're going to have a story here. Did I ever tell you the story about how I actually got to the point where I started learning how to operate my goddamn machine?
Someone probably just left you alone with it.
Pretty much. And this is what happened. All right, my shift lead, Willie, whenever a tool would break, I would go like a little child. Willie, Willie, my drill bit broke. Help, help. And Willie would come over and he would take the drill, he would take the tool body out and he would take and replace the drill, come back, touch it off, and get me back started again. And one day the floor manager came over there and he said, God damn it, I'm sick of seeing you in this fucking machine, Willie. Don't help this motherfucker ever again. And Willie looked at me and shrugged his shoulders and walked off. You know what that meant, right?
That man Bill's responsible for his own destiny.
Did Bill fuck it up?
A few times, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I tore up every goddamn tool in the machine at one point, and got blessed out for it. I did not get wrote up for that, but I could have, but I didn't, because that's the only way you can learn. You got to break it.
Right.
Honor you 83, just saying hi. I'm currently under tornado warning here in Kentucky. You be careful, sir. And all our prayers are out to you. Shaitan's Hammer. Hello, Bill and Joneser. Hey, Shaitan. We were talking about you last night. Somebody had talked about Dune, and I said, I know somebody that disagreed with you, Pope, because Pope loved those two new Dune movies that came out, and I don't think you did because of certain reasons. Right now, Joneser and I are learning about OBS Ninja. So, Honor You 83, I want you to be careful with that tornado warning. And Shaitan, I'm glad to see you here joining us. We're just kind of telling stories and popping back and forth and learning about Video Ninja and adding guests into OBS. And Joneser has come to the conclusion that he can listen to me all damn day long, and he ain't gonna learn a goddamn thing till he gets his fingers and arms down into that grease pile over there called OBS and just get dirty and nasty.
Well, and that's not 100% true, because I am learning from listening and watching, but the thing is that can only take you so far. And really the moments where the dots connect is when you just get in there, like you said, in the grease pile. Because like the main thing I got out of you today for me was how to make sense of the audio. And the reason why the dots connected on that is because I've been in that cesspit. And so and it was the same thing. The other thing I got for how to resize those docks and move those things around. And the reason I was able to get to the end of the finish line on that is because I have moved them around and had trouble, you know. And when we got into the next bit where it was how to create a scene out of source and move on to this next thing, that was kind of where some of the struggle began, because I haven't done that too many times. And when I have done that, it's been kind of a simple things, you know.
Well, the trick with adding yourself into a scene with a guest in OBS Ninja, and I'm going to try to go slow because I tend to get fast as I get excited. The first thing you have to do is you have to learn how to add a scene with you in it that you can use in another scene, and a scene with your guest in it, which is going to be a browser share using the solo link from Video Ninja in a scene for your guest. So you have two scenes in your scene list that you're not going to actually go to, because if you go to it, it's just going to be them in the scene. One for you, one for your guest. Then you're going to create another blank scene above that. You're going to nest the two scenes that you just created in that new scene and resize them so they sit side by side and make it look like something like this. So this scene that I'm in here, this is my scene in the scene list called obsninja.me. It's got my cam and my mic in it. Over there where you are, this way, I got to go the opposite way to point to you. Over there where you are is a browser share. Scene with a browser share using your solo view link, letting OBS handle the audio for it so that I can use the echo cancellation features of Video Ninja. Isolating your scene and audio in that one scene. And then I add that scene into this entire scene that we're in now with both of us in it. And then I resize the two scenes so that they can sit side by side like they are. I've got another one that looks like this. The same idea.
This is basically the same thing without the overlay, right?
Yes. It's just two scenes nested within this one overall scene that looks like the Video Ninja web browser screen. With us sitting in
Shakes Pants Hammer, you've got that absolutely correct. This is the Inception streaming. It's the stream in the stream in a stream.
Yeah, and
we've kicked around this before where we were going to talk about how to do the show while we're in the show, you know, and yeah, it is interesting and it can be confusing.
I like Salt says one heck of a learning experience here. Yes, sir, and yes, the Inception effect does come into effect when I share my OBS screen, and you can see the looking like two mirrors looking at each other, and you're looking in there. And then if you look at the very last instance that you can see a little character from mythology called the Trickster, and he will peek out at you every once in a while and wink at you, and then go back in on the other side of that mirror. Have you ever heard of the Trickster character? Loki is
the outside of the Flash. No.
Loki is the Trickster, and also Bugs Bunny is a trickster, but the trickster is a mythological character, and he usually is what he says on the tin. He's a trickster, and the mythology is to see the trickster. Sometimes you put two mirrors next to each other till you get to the inception effect, and then you look down the corridor that you just created, and sometimes the trickster will peek out from one of those mirrors at you and wink at you and then go back in.
Right.
Jaytan's Hammer, hello, welcome to the learning experience, well worthwhile. And yes, I like Salt said he wanted me to leave this up so that he could rewatch it, and I certainly will. I'm curious. Hey, I got eight viewers now. We had what, 2 a minute ago? Not bad, huh?
Right.
But yeah, I will leave this up, and Jonezer and I will continue because Jonezer is, as you can see, his mind is working right now, and you can see his brow furrowed, and questions are forming.
Yeah, but I think I need to play a little bit so I can ask better questions. You know what I mean? Like, that was how I was able to get to the end of the rainbow with the audio and with the docs, was because I knew how to ask what I wanted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
well, here's the other thing. You don't. What is that they used to say back during the first Gulf War? I think it was Rumsfeld said it. He said, "There's what you know, and there's what you know you don't know, and then there's what you don't know that you don't know."
right. That's the big one.
Right, and that's why most people appear to be stupid, because they know what they know, and they know quite a bit, and now they think they know it all. But what they don't know, they don't know that even exists. It's until you find out that entity exists, that's when you find out that you really don't know as much as you think you fucking do.
Right.
That's an epiphany moment, folks. Some people never reach it.
Well, and it's like in the world of boxing, you start to get pretty good. You start to have a couple wins, or you're slapping some people around in the amateurs. You're thinking that you got something, and then you get in there with somebody, and then all of a sudden, I can't hit him. I can't stop him from hitting me. How did he do that? And then because you get it led into a false sense of security. I think it was Muhammad Ali that said one of the worst things you can do is win, because you don't learn anything. Mm-hmm. You just keep thinking you just that you're good enough with what you got. You don't need anything else.
Yeah, and when you get to the complacency point that you think you're the best, that's when you set yourself up for failure. That's my personal opinion. Some people are better than that. Some people aren't, but I think you continue to learn continuously, because there's so much more out there that you don't even know that you don't know.
Well, I think once you slapped everybody around in front of you and you get all the way to undisputed world heavyweight champion, you could probably comfortably say you're the best at that point. But every moment before that, probably not.
But guess what? If I'm not mistaken, just about every world's heavyweight champion has been beaten and had that belt taken away from him at some point for some reason.
Most of them have. There's only one, I think, that still remains perfect, and that's the great Rocky Marciano. 49-0 forever.
Absolutely. But,
and I think if he would have continued, he probably would have got at some point.
Sure.
There's always somebody better coming.
And he probably knew to retire before or quit, stop it while he was at his zenith, his high, instead of letting himself fall.
And he had a bad contract and a falling out with his manager, and his manager was making a large percentage of the money, and it was going right up his hind end. And so part of him retiring was, you know what? I'm not going to make you rich no more. I'm done with you. And he had to wait a certain amount of time for the deal to be done away with. And the rumor has it that he might have even tickled the comeback once he would no longer be connected at the hip with this fella. And he died in a plane wreck. So we might have seen Marciano versus Ali or Marciano versus Frazier, but it never got to happen.
Okay, I want to close out some of this stuff that's taking up my resources, but don't want to do that before. Does anyone want to see anything that we've had on our screen shares so far? Do you need to see any of that stuff, Jones, or before I start?
Quite honestly, I think my cup has overflown today, and I just gotta soak in with what I got to work with for now, and then go fresh start later.
All right, I'm going to take this screen share away. I'm going to take this screen share away, so all the screen shares are gone. Jones, are you still there, or did you just kill your camera? His mic stopped, so that means he's not here anymore either. But he's here, but he's got his mic.
I'm here. I'm here.
All right.
Just had to mess with something quick.
Okay. I got my share stopped. And what we got?
I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to go, if I'm being honest. The wife just got home, so.
Okay, well that's perfectly fine. I think we've about reached the end of all of the learning sessions that we were doing today by any means. I will shout out Beta Ray Bob's chat here. I've been at my job for over 20 years and I'm still taking training classes. Software changes and new technology requires continuous learning. Amen, brother.
I've been operating my machine at work for about 20 years myself, and I'm constantly learning as the machinery changes, as the industry changes, and as there's advances. And
or you change from one type of material that you're using in the machine to another. I've heard that story.
Correct. Yep, that happens too.
We just changed the type of coolant that we add to our water in our coolant tank. And one of the nice things so far about it, do you remember how awful I used to break out?
Yeah, I even watched that Orco video the other day. Really, your hands were in rough shape for that.
It were. Check me out. I'm tearing up a little bit. Maybe I'm not allergic to this shit.
That would be nice.
Would be nice. Yeah, that Orco video was awful. That was when the coolant really started bothering me real bad, and I started having to wear these, look like the gloves that Dr. Deadly's got on, the big, huge green gloves. But yeah, it's been a good one, folks. You know, this has been a learning stream. It has been a time for me and Joneser to share knowledge with each other and try to share that with the world at large as well. That's you guys that actually came in to watch us. Thank you for being here with us.
Well, Bill, I'd like to say thank you for trying to show me a thing or two when I was on live, and then trying to, again, catch me up to par on your own stream here. I really appreciate you trying to share your tree of knowledge with me. But yeah, I have to admit that I feel like right now my brain's like a shot glass, and if you pour any more whiskey in, it's just going to go on the table.
Oh, that's wasteful, man. We can't abuse alcohol like that.
We're gonna have to wait till the brain becomes a little more of a bar mug, and then I'll have more questions.
Once again, my suggestion, and I don't know if this is falling on deaf ears or not, but I'll put it out there, and you can either take it and run with it or throw it on the ground.
I always hear you.
Michael Freyer and Steve, the man who created Video Ninja. If you go into Video Ninja's control room, Up there in the corner, there's a little question mark thingy or Billy Bobby or something so that you can get the actual docs up. Now, I don't suggest you even attempt to read his documentation. It's written like a documentation tree, and a video programmer probably could read that and understand it perfectly well. Everything is in there. However, he has got both a YouTube channel and a Discord. And you can go and on his YouTube channel, you can watch his videos where the man who created the damn thing tells you how to use it. Yes, you will go to sleep listening to this man because he has an ASMR voice that will put you to sleep. But he is, if you can keep yourself awake with a cup of coffee and pinch yourself every once in a while and actually listen to what he's saying, he can teach you. If you have questions and you want to ask them directly to him, join his Discord and he will answer your, I know for a fact he'll answer your questions, because guess what? Dumbass me has been in there asking him questions and he did answer me. The chat feature.
I would add one.
Go
ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was just going to say the chat feature that I use here is his chat feature. Go ahead, Jonezer. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine. I wasn't trying to cut you off, but what I was going to throw out there for people like George Valentine or I like Salt or anybody that's trying to learn how to do this, one trick or tip that I do know, I'm not as knowledgeable as Bill in these things, but I do know one little thing you guys can do instead of doing what I did and just throwing yourself out there and going live and trying to figure it out in front of people. And you can make your first live stream or whatever private, and then you can, instead of trying to make the things do what you want them to do, just push every button and see what they do and try all your things. You could even add the chat on the screen and try to figure that out, because you could chat to yourself and then put your own comment up or down. Like I think I like Salt caught me doing that earlier with my beetle bop bop be doop boop test or whatever I did. And you could try to move things around, move your scenes to different scenes and try to put the game capture or the window capture, or if you're lucky enough to have a friend like Bill or someone like that, you could try to bring in a guest, and you could do all this on a private stream so you can test the waters before going live in front of people and just figure out, get comfortable moving all these buttons and switches around, which I probably should have done more of, but I'm kind of one of those like, let's just jump in the pool and see if we can swim. Mm-hmm. But that's my 2 cents of knowledge that I can add to this, is that you can try this private before you jump in and gain some comfort that way and some repetitions without it's kind of fun to make a fool of yourself too, though. Yeah.
Well, you could do that privately, or you can even do it unlisted, which won't bring your video out to anybody to watch, but you can share it afterwards. But I'll say this: you can do that all you want, but you won't be able to fix your sound problems unless you have somebody watching it remotely to hear what they're hearing, because you cannot hear that shit when you're doing this. Jonezer knows.
Yeah, you'd have to watch back. Yeah, you'd have to watch back the private video or the unlisted video, and just to hear yourself going, you know, you won't catch audio problem.
Yeah, audio problems can be fixed on the fly if there's someone giving you feedback. I hear echo. Okay, I'll try this. Now do I echo? And they say, no, you don't. Then you go, okay, I fixed it. Or you think you did anyway. Right. The other thing that I am still working on my end on the audio, and we're going to have to work on it on your end as well, is our audio levels and our gain levels to stop the clipping from happening. And when what happens when you clip people is your audio gets so loud that your noise gate cuts you off. That's why sometimes you will hear my voice go away for just a second and then it'll come back. And I can't hear that, and Jonezer can't hear that, but you can hear that as the viewer, because that's what happens with the OBS software when it's broadcasting. And so I have worked on my audio levels, the actual loudness level, the gain levels, and stuff like that to try to stop that from happening and keep my voice level. Which means that if you notice, sometimes Jonezer's audio will be a little louder than mine. It's because we need to get into his mic settings and his gain settings and start working on that. I've worked on a little bit of it my end, but most of it he's going to have to work on his end, and I still need to work on mine too. Mine are not perfect by any means, but this is what we mean when you hear a creator say the more that you get that content out and the more you work with your tools, the better you get as you go along. Look at yourself now as opposed to 2-3 years ago, and then think about how good you're going to be in 2 to 3 years from now, if you stick with it.
Right.
And that is me being profound, I guess. Normally, I'm just a jerkwad over here making fun of Jonezer in his stream because he got his mic cut
I
off when he
appreciate
came
you
back.
coming in and being yeah. I wouldn't have known it if you wouldn't have told me.
And I like Gojitron's comment over there. I'm not even going to do all this. I'm just going to sit and heckle you from the chat.
And I don't blame him for that. That's a lot easier. There's a lot of things you can do to make it easier too. Like one of the things I did, I put a pair of monkey ears on right away because I was like, I can isolate my audio better and I can just speak to this. And then the gain won't be coming in to this mic. You know what I mean? So it's because the game had audio of its own. And so I knew that there's a way to do like Bill does where you don't have to do that. And I knew that was not something I was going to try to do today, you know.
But I think that the little light bulb came on there for a minute when I showed you what monitor and output, monitor only, and monitor and mute output meant.
Yeah, to me, the dots connected on that today just a little bit ago when I'd asked you. And then as soon as I understood, I don't know if you noticed, I immediately pulled my OBS up and started pulling up scenes and sources and fixing that.
Okay, before we go, I want to address two things here. Beta Ray Bob says, from my experience, most developers that also teach have an ASMR voice. And I Like Salt says, wow, think about it. You are live streamers, not people just uploading files. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's cool to think about, and it is an interesting thing. But I mean, and not to take anything away from that, but anybody can hit the live button and just sit in front of there and say something and do something. Anybody can do that. I mean, that's exactly what I did today. I just hit the live button and off I went. You know, and to become skilled at it, I think takes a lot of work, a lot of dedication, and a lot of getting kicked in the teeth and trying to still have some.
Yeah, and in the majority of people, in my experience, are going to go ahead and take the cheat and run over there to StreamYard and let it do all the work for them, and they're going to stay in the little yard that they're given to play in, and they're not going to be able to experience the wide world of this and what you really can do.
It's like he says, content matters. There's good live streaming, there's bad live streaming, there's train wrecks that are fun to watch, and there's train wrecks I can't stand to listen to, and there's, you know, also, I mean, some people don't like toys. They wouldn't want to see us talk about toys. Other people don't like video games. They wouldn't want to watch video games. Some people like them, the live streams where a guy just drones on about nothing. You know, I mean, it is what it is. Content matters, like he says. And to have the right audience for that content matters.
Well, we had 7 or 8 people continuously watching us for most of the stream, so it's been great. I'm glad to have them here. We are going to both have to go. Jonezer's got his life to lead, and I have mine to lead too. And guess what? I don't have to work tomorrow, neither does he, and we want to enjoy that too.
Right.
So I'm going to cut this one off for you guys watching. I thank you for being here, and I'll catch you on the flip side here, Jonezer, as soon as I hit the stop streaming button. So good
Sounds
night,
good.
folks, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy your Memorial Day if you're going to be off tomorrow.